Hey, so I'm doing something I've never done before, and instead of doing a video where I do a transcript, or instead of, um, doing a short like I've done, I'm just gonna start talking. I'm going on a walk, and I'm just gonna start talking. Something I have been doing is I've been using AI a lot as a tool. And I've been having conversations with AI while I walk, and it's been really powerful. And I go, and I'm like trying to deliver this big, like, load of information to AI. And I go, wait, you know what? Why don't I just make this a video? Because this actually feels like something that would be important to share. It feels like this is something that would be good for people to hear. So here I go. Okay, so there's a couple different things that we're going to talk about. However, it all really comes down to one thing. It all really comes down to one thing. And I'm going to approach it from different angles to just kind of make that point. Okay? So the base structure of reality, the core of reality, what everything comes from, is spiritual. Okay? Do I need to say that again? Because I'm gonna. The structure of everything in reality, first and foremost, is spiritual. Now let me talk about that so that we don't just leave it at that. I'm going to use a couple examples. One example that, in fact, you know what? I'm just going to get right into the nitty-gritty of it. This might be hard for you to hear, and that might be a good thing. There is a truth of reality that I personally, I had a hard time acknowledging for a long time. There are demons. They are a real thing, my friend. They are a very real thing. There is a spiritual warfare that is going on over the fabric of reality. It's just the truth. Okay, so with that out there, things come from, first and foremost, they come from the spiritual, they come from the realm of spirituality. They come from the spiritual realm. And then they come into fruition. I have had quite a few experiences that have shown me different aspects of this spiritual realm and the spiritual warfare of society, or of reality. So one of the things in that, well, there's a couple things again. So what I'm going to talk about in this moment is a few different points that I've noticed. So I'm feeling a little nervous, so pardon me while I stumble around on my words a little bit. And I've already had this conversation a couple times with the phone. And it just feels like I'm supposed to do this. So here I go. Anyways, so, okay. Essentially, what we have is, or what I've experienced is that, again, it's coming from spirit, first and foremost. So I love this story, right? So I'm talking to my pastor, and he is talking about how moments of trauma can actually act as an opportunity, is how he was saying it. And depending on what steps into somebody's life during that moment, it can either be an opportunity for nothing really to happen and it to not really be processed and it to just kind of get stuck. Or it can be an opportunity for God to enter and for that person's life to transform. Or it can be an opportunity for that person to become under the influence of demons. And the demon example was something that really struck me really hard, and I was really thinking about this really deeply. And again, this might be something that's really hard for some people to hear, but that doesn't mean it's not important to say. And I say this having had my own experience with this. I'm going to say this as a disclaimer first. I have struggled with PTSD. So I say this knowing firsthand experience what it is to have PTSD. So hear me out. PTSD is a demon. See? If you have trauma, an experience of trauma, and that trauma does not heal, if that trauma does not heal and it stays like a festering wound, then get this, there's an image that comes to mind. It's like the library. It's like the library of your soul. And in that library, that story is like a book, okay? I'm going to stand here for a moment. It's a nice intersection. I'm in a neighborhood, and I love being back on the coast. It's amazing. I'm in my hometown. It's pretty cool. Excuse me. Okay. So, in that library is this book. And my friend, that book is that story, okay? And what happens is this demon, that's good food for that demon. It likes it. And so it flips that book open and it leaves it on a table. And it just hangs out in your library. It makes home. It makes a home there. And every time it skims by, it siphons some more power from that book, from that story. And it gets all entangled with the library. It builds these webs like Shelob's lair from Lord of the Rings. It makes its home there. PTSD, my friends, it's a physical manifestation inside of us as trauma that wants to just of demonic interaction, entanglement within our being. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's possession, but it is entanglement. It is demonic entanglement. So, okay. I know that's kind of a big one. We could just say that and just leave it at that, but I'm not going to. So, and we can dig into that a little more. So, I'll give you an example. If you challenge somebody who has PTSD to improve, to do better, they probably are not going to take it very well. If their story is looked at, if they're forced to look at their story, they're not going to do very well about it. They're going to be angry and defensive. Why do you think that is? Really? Is it really because that person is angry and it's because the being that has been feeding off of that story wants to continue to do so? They want to continue to feed on it. Okay, man. I guess I'm just putting it all out there right now. Okay. So, wow. Parasites. We'll talk about parasites next. I'm just putting it all out there, aren't I? I'm really going to do this. Okay, I'm really going to do this. I'm kind of scared about this because I know it's going to, draw attention, which is why I haven't done this yet. That's why I've kept it to simple things. But I guess this is what I really got to do. Okay, is it really going to start like this? A video, me walking in the dark? I'm here for it. All right, so parasites are also a example of demons. Now, this is where we start talking about how spiritual realm is what comes first, and then it becomes physical. So when we have demonic possession, or demonic interaction with our body or entanglement, it shows up in all these different ways. Well, parasites are one of the ways that manifests. It's one of the ways that they maintain a threshold in our body, in our being. I've had experience with parasites, and this has revealed this to me. I went, "Are you serious?" So that's just kind of a concept to approach in that. So the fabric of reality, first and foremost, is spiritual. And then another thing that I want to talk to about in that is this sense of in that spiritual warfare is that how often things are not directly approached, right? Because the demons don't like being looked at. If we look at them, we can deny them and we can command them, and they can lose their power, and they don't like that. They really don't like that, understandably, right? They only have power because we let them, because they siphon it. So, okay. So, recently I've been thinking a lot about the concept of surrender and giving my life to God. And one of the things that I just heard that hit me hard, there's this guy named Myron Golden who I quite like. I've been watching his videos, and something he said just, whoa, it struck me. It struck me. He said we have to sacrifice our lower nature to receive something of the higher nature. And that just, whoa, that just really rung true. I mean, it really rung true for me. And I was reminded of my thoughts around surrendering. And what hit me is that, wait a second, I've actually been avoiding the directness of it because, wait, I still have some demons in me. Of course I do. So I've been avoiding this really full accountability around this. So sacrificing things of the lower nature to make room for things of the higher nature still has this sense of giving it all to God. I give it to God, except instead of surrendering it to God, like giving up on it, no, I sacrifice it to God. I sacrifice it to God. It's not giving up, it's giving over. And, I was saying that about surrender, is that surrender is not giving up, it's giving over. And I feel like this is just digging even more into that awareness that it's sacrifice. It is sacrifice without suffering. It's sacrifice without martyrdom. So we sacrifice because we are going after something greater, because we are becoming greater, because we are becoming what God wills us to be. Okay, beautiful people. Stay blessed, and talk to you soon. Love you, bye.